Jay stands on the brink of history to become a three-time world champion. Daniel Dynamite Dubois, Britain's silent powerhouse, stands in his way. An explosive night at Wembley awaits.
Who do you think you are?
Daniel, don't disrespect me.
Joshua versus Dubois. Live on DAZN, September 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Ah, look at us. Welcome inside the historic Guildhall in East Central London. It's Ariel, it's Ade, it's the very first episode of the Ariel and Ade show. We have made it, my friends. We've been talking about this program, trying to will it into existence, trying to manifest
Well,
it.
I slid in your DMs like 5 years ago asking.
I didn't want to embarrass you.
That's okay, you can say it. They know, the world knows. I put it out there on my social media. I slid in the DMs, I got no answer.
Yeah. On purpose.
But here you are.
I think I may have blocked you initially because I was like, who's this stalker? But we have made it, my friends.
Yeah.
We are on the same level. We have been talking about doing a show together for quite some time, and now here we are. And so in case you missed the announcement, and we've put it out there several times, this man, Ariel, Oladipo, and I are going to be doing a show each and every week for DAZN. It's called the Ariel and Ade Show.
That's still, no, wait, that's still like
still are pushing,
in the air. That's still in the air, it's still in the clouds. We haven't quite sort of
I was pushing for Ade versus Ariel. I'm that kind of guy.
Okay, no.
But they said they liked it. The powers that be said, okay, we got to go.
Well, Ariel said
A side goes first. That's just the way it goes. But we are here, and the show will air each and every week, Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. here in the UK, 5 Eastern, back home on the East Coast of the United States. But when there's a big fight week, and they're obviously, we have a big fight week, and we're here together, we got to do it together. And so you'll get some special Thursday. Yeah.
This is the magic.
It's so much
I mean,
better.
it is what it is,
Although
right?
your setup, by the way, back home,
pretty good, right?
No green chair, but it still looks very good.
I like what I've done. I'm very proud of what I've done. I mean, I would like to take all the credit for it. Someone did assist me a little bit, but it's 90% of my work, so it's going to be good, right? You from your studio, me from my studio. I mean, come on. This is going to be gold. This is gold.
And sure, it's a DAZN show, but it's also an Uncrowned production, my new venture with Yahoo. So he is now an extended member of the Uncrowned family, which gives me great joy. So the first official episode, we kick off on October 15th. This is a soft launch, unofficial launch, if you will, for this massive fight week here in London.
And that makes sense. I mean, what a perfect way to launch. I mean, I know you announced it without sort of giving me a heads up at the Canelo fight. I'm not mad at you for doing so.
Not exactly.
I'm not mad at you for doing that. But this makes sense. A launch here in this. Look at this place, by the way.
This is unbelievable.
This is ridiculous.
William Wallace, I was told, was tried for treason here. A lot of great things happened here. It's an unbelievable venue. First and foremost, congratulations and commiserations.
Go on.
Congratulations on this.
Okay.
A massive deal. You get your show.
Where are you going?
It's a big deal.
It's a massive
Congratulations on hosting.
Yep.
You did a phenomenal job, and I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about that in a moment.
Yeah.
But of course, I'd be remiss if I don't offer my commiserations after what transpired at Anfield on Saturday.
Is this a football and boxing show? What is this? What is it? I thought I came here to do a boxing show.
What are the chances that our two clubs, of course I think I'm more of a supporter of Forest than you are of Liverpool these days, but our two clubs going toe-to-toe, and we win over there for the first time in over 60 years. We, the capital W. Come on.
You know when you mentioned that you were close to blocking me on Instagram?
Yeah.
I was close to blocking you at full time.
Yeah.
Because I knew the text or the WhatsApp was going to come through, but it is what it is. We'll come back to that discussion when we go to the City
Europa
Ground. When we go to the City Ground, we'll see and we'll get our revenge. But back to matters at hand.
Yes.
This is like sensational, right? I mean,
did you enjoy hosting the press conference?
No, I didn't.
Why?
You know why? Because I want a table to be thrown. I want someone to do something, and it was too nice up there. Eddie was very nice to Frank. Frank was nice to Eddie. I spoke to Daniel Dubois all week, and he was fiery. He was smiling. And all of a sudden, I felt like he shrunk in the moment a little bit. Yeah.
But that's been the knock on him, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm like, come on.
Subscribe to that. Does he get nervous in these moments? People, especially the British fans, like to say he doesn't have the heart, he doesn't have the bravado. Did you feel that? Did you sense that?
I felt some nerves.
Really?
For the first time. Again, look, we spoke to him on Monday, we spoke to him on Tuesday, we spoke to him today. Earlier I spoke to him, and he was very, very calm. It could have been the case of AJ making him wait 30 minutes. So he might have been a bit peeved off, but it sensed like, okay, this is actually happening. I'm fighting this guy called AJ in front of 96,000, and that's a lot. You saw how many members of the media were here. He's never had that before. AJ's done that walk so many times. This This is literally normal for AJ. This is like Canelo against Berlanga. It's like, oh, this is the norm. For him, it isn't, and I kind of felt up there. But I wanted some spice. There was no spice, so I'm upset with myself.
Is it unfair to say he's never been on a stage like this before? Just a year ago, he was fighting in Poland against Alexander Usyk in a soccer stadium. I know it's not Wembley. I know it's not 96,000, but he has had some big fights.
I don't even remember the press conference of that fight.
Yeah.
Was there even a presser?
There was. It was in Poland.
Yeah, there was. There was no national media.
Right.
He wasn't a champion. He's got that red belt, and he kind of, puts it out there on the table. I am the champion. There's so much more pressure now. So many more interviews, so many more demands, and that can get you. You can crumble. And I'm not saying he's going to crumble, because I'm saying all
but
this.
But it's giving you some pause.
It's giving me some pause. It's giving me some pause. I was leaning, Dubois could cause a
50,
problem.
50, now it's a little 70-30.
75-25.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. The tardiness on AJ's part, mind games, or do you think he was just late?
Mind games.
Really?
Yeah, he did it the other day at Leicester Square. I'm just not having it. There's traffic. I mean, there's traffic for everyone.
It's only affecting him.
Yeah, all of a sudden, the traffic only gets you. Like,
yeah.
what is this? Right, I don't understand. Does your car say AJ on it and you get stopped by the general public? He's doing this on purpose. Just to make sure Daniel Dubois knows that I run this ship. You might be the champion, but it says Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, and not Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua. And I like the way Dubois is like, three-piece suit and tie, AJ's in a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Again, it's sort of to say, what, is this big for you?
Yeah.
You're in a suit?
You're trying too hard.
Yeah, I just woke up and I've just strolled in.
By the way, as a purist, initially I was seeing some people, I don't like the fact that AJ's name is on the marquee first. He's not the champion. I say bollocks. I say that's nonsense. Okay. He's the draw.
Can you say that word?
Bollocks?
He said it
is that not good?
I don't know if you're allowed to
bollocks.
Say it. Well, yeah.
Oh, can I say? I thought I was mispronouncing it.
No. I mean,
the internet. What? Are you going to apologize for bad language? Is that a bad word?
It's a bad word.
For real?
Over here, it's a very bad word.
You're all over the gaff.
No, that's a good.
That's a good word.
I like that. I don't mind.
I'm trying to use all the slang that I know. Is it nonsense? Is that a better word?
There you
Is
go.
it nonsense
there you
that
go,
he's
there
first?
You go. Okay.
You guys, you old-time boxer guys, and I don't mean the promotion boxer. I mean the actual. You like uniformity. Like, I hate the fact, by the way, that this is for the IBF title.
I don't like that.
I think that's nonsense.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I don't like it. Well, actually, before I answer that, in terms of the name first, I don't know if you realize, right at the end of the presser, I made a thing of saying, Daniel Dubois takes on Anthony Joshua.
Ooh.
On purpose. Because I do think...
That's kind of hedging.
Yeah, I do think... Yeah, right, it is, I see. I do think the champion should be first. It's not a case of it stops an event from happening, but I do think the champion's name should be first. You think it's the person that's the biggest
I think
draw?
it's the bigger draw. It's like when Conor McGregor fought Chad Mendes. I know there wasn't a belt necessarily on the line, but Chad Mendes was the higher-ranked featherweight. Conor walked out second, and it was McGregor-Mendes. Same kind of thing here, right?
Yeah. I don't think Daniel Dubois cares. Some fighters would.
Yeah.
I can name some that might not be happy with it. Daniel Dubois is just happy to be here, happy to be making the check that he's going to make, and he's going to be making some bank.
Yeah.
And happy to get his chance to fight AJ. I think that's all he cares about.
What about this IBF title? Now, let me be very clear. I love this fight. I was secretly kind of rooting for Dubois to beat Hrgovic because I think AJ Dubois is bigger than AJ Hrgovic, right? Mm-hmm. So I love everything about it, and I've had a soft spot for Dubois ever since the Joyce fight because I felt like people were a little bit mean towards him. Yes.
Yeah.
Questioning his heart. The guy had a broken orbital bone. I mean, come on. The fact that it's for the IBF title annoys me because we got 2 weeks of undisputed champion. After all that talk, 25 years, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks. And it annoys me that Usyk Fury isn't for undisputed gold.
What should the IBF do? Just allow these fighters to do what they want?
Yes.
No, they should say, okay, listen, if you're not going to fight your mandatory, we're going to strip you. And they gave Usyk the opportunity, right? Hrgovic was going to put to the side. And he said, okay, Usyk, we're going to give you this one. You can fight him, but after you need to tell us what you're going to do. And he's still like, we're taking a belt. There is a queue of fighters who want their opportunity. And I'm sorry, if you don't follow the rules, and it's quite good, by the way, the other sanctioning bodies should follow suit. Because there's a guy who fights in Las Vegas all the time called Canelo who seems to do what he wants with the belts.
Sure.
And there's other people waiting for opportunities. I feel like there's a hold-up. We always ask, where are the stars? Where's the next superstar? Where's the next world champion? It's because a lot of these fighters are doing what they want to do, and the sanctioning bodies are deciding to kind of let them do what they want to do. So you know what? I'm not a fan of it, but I like what they've done.
Wow. Okay, so you're going the complete opposite. You're going the purist route.
I'm going the purist route. The thing what I don't like about it is that Anthony Joshua is going to be called a three-time world champion, heavyweight world champion. And I'm like, yeah, but that's only because you lost.
Yeah.
So does that mean if you lose, you win a belt again and you lose and you get it again, you're a four-time, the first ever four-time, do you know what I mean? I don't like that.
There is something to be said for reinventing yourself.
Yeah.
I understand what you mean. It maybe isn't as prestigious as just being a champ for 6, 7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said. And by the way, to that point, I do want to ask you this. I actually initially thought of starting at this point, but we kind of, and that's the beauty of this show. There is no script. There is no rundown.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Saudi Arabia, August 20th, I believe. He loses to Usyk, Anthony Joshua. Were you at that one?
I was.
You're witnessing him have what appears to be a meltdown.
Yes.
Not only in the ring, but at the post-fight presser. At the post-fight presser, he is openly crying.
It's different. They're both very different, aren't they?
Well, okay, I'd love to know why.
Okay.
But I'm just curious if that night we would have spoke. Could you have imagined any of this, or did you think, because I remember what Twitter was like that night, that's it. He's done.
Yeah.
It's the end of Anthony Joshua. He may have a nice fight here against, I don't know, a Dillian White or a Derek Chisora or whatever, but the days of him being a top draw are over. That's what the sentiment felt like. Did you subscribe to that?
No.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. I didn't. And the reason I didn't was twofold. One, I've got to know AJ for a long time. That's a very, very determined young man. And I knew that he was going to go back. You know, yes, all the outcry of emotion happened, but I knew he was going to go back and rebuild. I just knew he wasn't going to go out like that. And the second reason was because I watched a genius in Alexander Usyk. And I always said, I said this to AJ, it's funny, you know what happened? So as AJ's making his way to that post-fight press conference, he actually stops the car and speaks to me. He winds the window down.
Wow.
Yeah, not a lot of people know this. He winds the window down, and he says, he almost said he was embarrassed with what happened. And I was like, no, not at all. And he said the performance wasn't good enough. I was like, dude, that guy, Alexander Usyk, is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. It was a fantastic performance. You just lost on the night. And he was heartbroken. He was broken. And I knew that broken was going to fuel him. I knew he was going to like literally say, okay, we'll see, and do this all again. And it takes a strong person to do that. But I knew, because of him stopping and speaking to me and just looking in his eyes, I knew that AJ was going to come back again.
Wow, I love that, sir. You kind of gave me chills there. Because it shows, what's the difference between the moment in the ring and the moment at the presser you were just saying? You were saying two different moments.
The moment in the ring was almost uncontrollable. It was almost uncontrollable. It was almost like he lost himself a little bit. The moment, the presser was almost, I've been perfect. I've been perfect. I don't want to show you guys any emotion. People have said he's robotic-like, and sometimes he can be in his personality. And finally, the cover just came off. Finally, it was a case of, this is hard. This is hard. It's difficult. There's a lot of sacrifice. And I tried my absolute hardest, and I didn't win, and it hurt. And it happens. And I almost got emotional watching him, because I was like...
It was hard to see.
It was hard to see. Because you look at these guys, they're 6'8", 6'9" giants, and you don't see that emotion. So when you do see it, it's like, wow, these guys feel it as well. And I think he just felt it. I think it hurt him because he thought he did everything correct. Imagine doing everything correct. Getting up, you're doing your runs, you're eating your right food, you're sparring, you're looking fantastic, and you still cannot beat that man. That must break you. It was difficult.
I'm so fascinated by him, but I'm also fascinated by his relationship with the British public. And I just feel, and I've said this time and again, that the British public gives him such a hard time. He has had some transgressions in life, but that was all prior to him becoming Anthony Joshua, right? Prior to the Olympics. He has never done anything to embarrass England. He has never done anything to put his foot in his mouth. There have been some guys who are very popular right now, I don't have to name names, who have said some questionable things, who have done some questionable things. There is no knock on AJ when it comes to those topics. And so even moments ago, after the presser, I was trying to tell him, like, look, they finally have your back. 96,000 tickets, and let's be honest, the vast majority are for him.
AJ,
He stopped me. He said, they still don't have my back.
Wow.
He said that right there. They still, and I'm like, really? You still feel that way? They're still doubting me. They're still questioning me. And so what is it? You do talk radio, you speak to the public. What is it about the relationship between this country and him?
I don't think it's a this country and him thing. I think this country and top sports stars, that they build you up, you get to a certain level and they will tear you back down. The same thing's happened recently with Jude Bellingham, who, coming through this superstar, and, maybe didn't play as well in the Euros, and it's like, he's too big for his boots. Same thing happened to Andy Murray. Like, okay, you know, you think you're that good, you win a couple of Grand Slams, you say something bad, he's rubbish. It's a thing of building sports stars up and then tearing them down.
But why is that? Well, like, with all due respect to America, like, they don't do that to Steph. They don't do that to LeBron. There's obviously haters, but I feel like you guys are so quick to tear down. Am I right?
Yeah, you are.
So why?
I don't know.
What is it about the mindset?
What AJ needs to do, though, not to sort of move away from your question, is AJ needs to focus, and we all do it, right? I do it anyway. You can have 100 positive comments. You see one and it's highlighted in red. So that answer that he gave you about, are they still backing him? Of course they are. You know, 96,000 people haven't come to see him lose. The majority have come to see him win. I think AJ's been supported quite well by the British public. I just think there is a very loud minority that have made their feelings known, and it could be just because they love Tyson Fury so much and they can only pick one. There seems to be this Fury versus AJ, rather than you can support and like both. If you are Team Fury, you're Team Fury and you hate AJ. If you're Team AJ, you hate Tyson Fury. And I feel like that's kind of maybe the reason why he gets a bit of hatred. But ultimately, I think he is loved by the majority of the British boxing
Who's more popular here?
That's close. It's weird that I'm even saying that, because for years it was just AJ. I would have done, AJ. But Tyson Fury is so... You know why Tyson Fury is so popular? When he gets on the mic, he's sensational. And you almost feel like he just lets you in. Obviously, he's done that documentary on Netflix where he lets you in and he's just himself and he's a bit of a character and he falls over and he has a drink. He seems to be more relatable to a lot of the British fight fans, whereas AJ maybe doesn't seem as relatable. And he just seems to show you the flaws, the warts and all. There was a video of him falling out of a pub.
Yeah.
I mean, if AJ did that, my lord.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so why does it seem like the leash is longer with Fury than AJ?
I know.
With Fury, we were over that 3 days later. A couple of people piped up about it, and then we moved on. With AJ, I bet he would have been asked a million times, right? Yeah. I bet you Fury's not even asked that question once fight week come December 21st.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. You know the one
Do you
thing...
agree, by the way?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, AJ's called Chinny. And Fury doesn't have that moniker or tag.
It's a one fight.
Yeah. Fury's been down way more times than AJ.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So it almost feels like there's a double standard.
That's why the fight will be so big. That's why, and look, I know there are so many hurdles to get to that, but that's why we're so desperate, because you almost have two completely different fan bases in the UK that will come together and sell out Wembley Stadium in seconds.
Well, you say so many hurdles. There's probably never been this few amount of hurdles, right? Eddie and Frank are best buds now. Turkey Al-Sheikh is in the picture as well, so he's making things happen. It's really one fight away. Now here's the question. I believe there's a theory out there that if this fight happens next year, because these two fights have to happen, people feel like it's 3 years too late or 4 years too late. I actually think it's the perfect time, because if AJ is coming off a win over Dubois and 5 in a row, Fury's coming off a win over Usyk, those are incredible wins, right?
Great.
It's not like they're, Pacquiao getting knocked out by Marquez and then he's fighting Floyd Mayweather.
No, I agree.
Okay.
You know why I say there's so many hurdles? Because Usyk is a hurdle that's not the size of a normal hurdle.
Okay, so
the hurdle is so big. Alexander Usyk, I think both of us believe Usyk will win.
Yes.
That's why it's such a big hurdle. That's why I say so many hurdles.
That's totally fair. He's a gigantic hurdle. Here's the thing. If Usyk does in fact beat Fury and AJ wins this fight, can you sell out Wembley with a Fury coming off 2 straight losses and an AJ on a roll? Is it still doable? Because I think that fight is bigger. Is that fight bigger than Usyk AJ 3?
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Well, it depends how Fury loses, and obviously there's hypotheticals here, but if he loses on points and it's close, like the fight that they had in Riyadh, then I think you can do it. If he gets pummeled around the ring, then no. That this isn't the same intrigue.
You don't think people still want to see those two giants in there together?
No, because people want to see them, and you want to believe it is number 1 versus number 2. You don't want to believe that it's a faded, and they will say that faded Fury and an AJ that only beat up Dubois, because that's what the story is going to be like, by the way, come Saturday night. If AJ beats Dubois, it will be, he only beat Dubois. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, my God, really?
That's the way it is, unfortunately.
Even against Dubois?
Welcome to British boxing.
As good as he's looked. I understand if you want to say that against Robert Helenius. Even Otto Wallin, which I think he doesn't get enough credit for how he looked in that fight. He certainly doesn't get credit for the Ngannou win anymore. Like, that was just like, oh, yeah, that was supposed to happen. But if he outclasses, knocks out Dubois, you don't think he gets credit for that?
I think a lot of people will say, I kind of expected that.
Really?
Yeah, that will be the, we expected that. This is how it is.
See, that's the thing. I feel like there's a double standard.
Yeah, maybe so.
And I can't quite understand it because I feel like he's great with the media, he's great with the fans, he's great with the public. I can't quite understand without living here what this guy has done to create this contentious relationship.
I wonder if it's partly down to the fact that his promoter's Eddie Hearn, who also has this kind of weird relationship with the British media as well. Like every time I used to do post-fight interviews and speak to Eddie Hearn, the boos would ring out. So I just kind of wonder if it's a bit of that as well. But I don't know. I think AJ's accepted who he is. He's almost accepted the way in which he gets treated, and he gets on with it now. He gets on with it.
We could talk about this fight for hours.
As we should.
I want to ask you about Canelo Alvarez.
Ooh.
What a night, by the way, for combat sports. Last weekend, Las Vegas, within a mile of each other, two massive venues, two historic venues, combined generated approximately $37 million worth of money in terms of a gate. That's crazy. 20 million UFC, 17 million for Canelo. The reports are that the pay-per-view did phenomenal, and that's a fight that no one thought Berlanga had a chance in, and here's Canelo still proving that he's the man. Reports are UFC did well.
You know what, yeah, sorry, I'm going to cut across you, because you mentioned the gate, and the gate thing I always find quite annoying, because everyone now tries to up the gate, which basically means you're upping the ticket prices.
Sure.
Which basically means your average fight fan can't go because the ticket prices are so expensive. And all this like trying to compete about, oh, we done this gate and that gate. It's an American thing now. We never say the gate over here.
Interesting.
Never say, I've never heard anyone ever say about the gate.
It also means that you are big enough as far as being a draw that people are willing to pay that much to watch you, which is a testament.
I agree.
Not everyone can pull that off, right?
That's true.
It wasn't empty in there. I mean, the Munguia fight wasn't completely full. Puerto Rico versus Mexico did the trick on Saturday. And now the big question is, okay, what does he do, right? It sounds like him and Turkey aren't on the same page. And it feels like that needs to be rectified to get to the Crawford fight.
Yeah.
And so look at your crystal ball. Let's say he fights in May again,
Yeah.
right? He usually fights Cinco de Mayo, Mexican Independence Weekend.
Which has got to be applauded, by the way. That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, amazing.
Incredible.
He's arguably the biggest draw and the most active guy in the sport. It's crazy. At his age, with all those fights, who's he fighting in May?
Dimitri Bivol, if Bivol beats Beterbiev.
Really?
Yeah.
There were two names that are on my mind.
You weren't even thinking that, were you?
Neither.
Yeah, if Dimitri Bivol becomes undisputed light heavyweight champion, Canelo is going to want to take on Dimitri Bivol because of that defeat a couple of years ago.
You interested in that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking greatness now, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're talking where is Canelo in the all-time great fighters that we've ever seen. I don't know if a Benavidez win takes you any further up the run when it comes to all-time greatness. Crawford, as you mentioned, Turkey, there's an issue there. Bivol will take that fight. Bivol will say, okay, let's dance again. I beat you once, I can beat you again. Canelo will think, 1 second, I can see where I could maybe get a victory. I think he wants Bivol again.
If you're advising Canelo, do you take that fight? Is that smart for him? Considering how the first fight went, considering the step up in weight, at this point, he's on fire. He's doing great. He's looking great.
That might be the problem. I mean, he will say, 1 second, I just did 650 or 750,000 pay-per-view buys versus Edgar Berlanga. Risk reward. I don't have to fight anyone risky because, I can still do the numbers. Before I almost felt like he had to fight Benavidez to do 700. He had to fight Crawford. Well, clearly he doesn't. If I'm advising him of the options, Bivol, Crawford, Benavidez, I'm going Bivol.
Really?
Because you've almost got an inbuilt excuse. You've got an inbuilt excuse.
What are you talking about? Crawford is the biggest money fight.
Yeah, but you know what it is? You lose to Crawford.
And the easiest fight because of the weight. But
you lose to a guy that's jumped up 2 weight classes.
Hey, you're still losing to arguably the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
But a small guy. A small guy.
Where do you think they fight? Do you think he would go down to 160?
No.
They're fighting at 168.
168. If I'm Canelo, you've called me out. I'm not making any concessions. You're coming up to my weight class and we're dancing just as Jamel Charlo did.
Sure.
Coming up.
Okay, so considering how he looked against Madrimov, is there any doubt that Canelo wins that fight?
Yes.
If I'm advising...
Yes, there is doubt.
Really?
Crawford's a genius. Crawford's a genius.
That's 14 pounds above the weight class that he's not even a natural at.
Yeah, if I'm Crawford, I don't even come at 168. I come in at 161. I come in just
for
above the
kicks.
middleweight division, and you know what? I use my speed and agility to win this fight, a la Roy Jones versus John Ruiz many moons ago.
That's arguably the biggest fight in American boxing, right? That can be made.
Does that do 1 million pay-per-view buys?
I think so.
Yeah, same.
Listen, if Berlanga Canelo did 650,
Yeah.
Crawford Canelo is doing, I think.
That's the one. By the way, I mean, you asked me what would I do if I was Canelo's team. As a fight fan, I want to see Crawford Canelo. I think that would almost be the who is the greatest fighter of this generation sort of question.
Look, if Crawford isn't going to fight the Boots Ennises of the world,
No.
the 47-pounders or the 54-pounders, then just go up and fight him. It's now up to I think Crawford has made it very well known that he wants this fight.
Why does Canelo not want it? Why do you think Canelo doesn't want it?
I think he's a businessman, and I think that he is making a lot of money fighting the Edgar Berlangas and the Munguias of the world. Can I tell you the one that you haven't named? And just to be clear, the biggest one is obviously Crawford. And I think you're crazy for saying anything. I think Bivol Canelo 2 is nowhere in the stratosphere of Canelo Crawford.
What, in terms of money?
Bivol's not a draw.
No, in terms of money, you are correct. But in terms of legacy,
yeah, but he's in the money business. He always says that.
Okay, fair. He's made quite a lot of money. The bailiffs are not knocking at his door.
Can I tell you like my hardcore fan pick?
Go on.
Canelo Alvarez against the pride of Montreal, Christian Mbili. My guy. Hard hitter, will bring the fight to him. Come on. You don't think...
I love Mbili, yeah? Let me tell you now. Mbili won't even get a WhatsApp message. Mbili's team will send an email to Canelo's team and it'll bounce back. They won't even have the right email address.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think they consider...
No.
I think he has...
The risk-reward in fighting Mbili.
What's the difference between
No
Mbili?
one knows him, number one. Imagine fighting him.
You see him in Montreal, he's a big star.
Yeah, I saw his fight against Derevyanchenko. He's a good fighter, but what? Nah, not at all. Mbili should maybe...
I think he could give him a run for his money.
Could possibly beat him.
He's a whirling dervish.
He's so far down the list. He's so far down on the list. He's not even on the list.
Of the realistic options, not the Crawfords, not the Bivols. I feel like he's quite high on the list. No.
No.
Of the normal guys, of the Munguia type of characters. Who's the realistic option? Because those two aren't necessarily realistic.
You know, I think even in front of him could be a man that we know was in conversations with Canelo and his team back in August. That's Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. obviously on October 12th card against Kamil Zeramata. I think he's in front of Mbili. I think Mbili is just too risky and too unknown to even warrant the opportunity.
You don't think Canelo...
What does he bring to the table? Munguia brought the Mexicans, Edgar Berlanga brought the Puerto Ricans, Mbili's going to bring the French.
Canadians.
The Canadians, the French.
The Français. No?
Yeah, no.
I would love to see it. By the way, speaking of October 12th, Tank Davis told All the Smoke recently that he was offered by His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, a fight against Teofimo Lopez on that card, and Lopez said no.
Don't believe it.
You don't believe him?
Don't believe it.
You think it's rubbish?
Absolute nonsense. Teofimo Lopez ducked Javante Davis.
This is what Tank told All the Smoke.
You know what? If a fighter's going to duck this for a reason, it could be a case of, 1 second, you're only offering me 1 million? Not doing it. That's almost the thing of saying no, right? When really and truly he deserves a lot more. So it could be a money thing. Teofimo Lopez is not scared of Javante Davis.
I'm not suggesting that.
That's kind of what you suggested. You gave me a
Absolutely
look.
not.
Why'd you give me that look?
No.
Yeah.
I actually saw the clip, and I was like, I can't even believe that this was a thing.
Yeah.
First of all, Tank going over there. Remember, there was a time where Turkey was like, well, actually, Tank was like, give me 2 cars, and Turkey was like, forget your cars.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys haven't been a part of the Riyadh season circuit. And we were talking earlier, that October 12th card, in my opinion, I know it lost Shakur Stevenson, is actually my favorite one to date. It's the deepest one. That is crazy. Who are you looking at? Who's over there?
The camera, as you're saying, it's the deepest one.
Which?
I don't know if it is. It's a great card.
Which is better? Which is better?
I can't remember all of them.
You've listed them a million times. Serious?
Hey, you know what one I did
all
like?
Of them.
I actually like. I like the recent BMO Stadium. I like that one. That was a good card.
This one has Bivol Better Biev.
That one had Pitbull Cruz versus Venezuela, and Jarrell Miller versus Andy Ruiz. David Morrell was on that card as well. You forgot the card.
Of course, Andy Cruz. I love Andy Cruz.
There you go.
Jared Anderson against Piccoli. I'm naming more fights than you.
Wait, exactly. Well, that's not better than this.
Bivol Better Biev is better than that main event.
Yeah.
Right? Chris Eubank on there.
see what you're doing. You're naming names. See, you're naming names.
Well, what? No. Look at the legends.
You're naming names. You're not naming fights.
Jayo Pataya.
Okay.
We had Shakur. We had him.
1 second. They're in my ear. They're telling me we're done. Half an hour.
Ben Whitaker.
It's done.
Ben Whitaker. Love Ben Whitaker. And historic fight. Shout out to the ladies. Sky Nicholson,
Yeah.
Raven Chapman,
Massive.
historic title fight,
Massive.
a proper WBC title fight. This one's deeper, with
Maybe.
younger talent in their primes.
You know what this one feels like? You know what it feels like? It almost feels like most of the fighters, apart from obviously the main event, are in semi-final fights. It almost feels like Oppenheimer is waiting really for Chris Smith, that Chris Eubank Jr. is waiting for Canelo. It's got that kind of feel, apart from obviously
the main
Wardley
event.
Clark and Wardley Clark.
Oh, Wardley Clark too.
And Wardley Clark, well, yeah.
A proper
Yeah.
British dust-up, a British belter.
Yes, sir.
This has been fun.
It's been-
They're,
it's
they're
been
showing
quick.
me a sign over there to wrap up.
And they do it where?
I was
Where?
told in my contract 60 minutes.
Yeah.
I came all the way here for a
Do you still
60-minute
get
show.
paid the same for half an hour?
Yeah, it's great.
And then half an hour it is.
You don't, huh?
Yeah. If we're getting paid the same amount
Yeah.
here.
But here's the thing, for the
Go on.
fans at home,
Yeah.
1 hour show.
100%.
No breaks,
No.
no adverts.
Any subject we want to talk
There
about.
might be a couple of ad reads, but we're not taking like the proper breaks.
Okay.
Any subject,
Yep. No,
we swear?
no football talk. You
no
cannot
football
swear.
talk,
You cannot
unless
swear.
you guys get back on track.
No.
From my studio, from your studio.
Yes, sir.
It's a proper 50-50 dance. None of this, I'm the presenter nonsense.
No. We will both ask each other questions.
Yeah.
And hopefully you've got the knowledge to keep up with me. I mean, that's the
No
real,
MMA
that's the
talk,
real
that's in the
skill here.
contract. Because I've said to the public, I've said, you know what, I'm done with this. I need respect. Even Todd Grisham said, oh, Ariel's dipping his toe in the boxing
Did he do
waters.
that?
Can I get some respect?
Did he do that? Did we forget that Todd Grisham was dipping his toes in WWE not too long
I
ago?
feel like
It took
people
him time
still
to
don't
get
give me the respect that I deserve. I'm a proper pundit. I
Yeah.
could go toe-to-toe. Can I not? Wow.
Finger to finger.
Wow.
We'll get to the toes a
Test
bit
me
later.
right now. I was there back in 2000 when the great Arturo Gatti fought at the Bell Center in Montreal.
Against.
Joe Hutchinson.
Well done.
I was there. What are you talking about? I was there when Roy Jones Jr. fought Otis Grant of Montreal.
Cut him. Get
I
rid
was
of him.
there.
Cut
I
him.
was there. I need to wear a shirt. I was there, even though I probably wasn't at any of these
Are you
fights.
sponsored? What's that?
No.
Okay.
In any event, this has been a blast. I can't wait for many more of these. Again, new show, new partnership. We're going to be doing these each and every week. This is a sort of soft launch, but you know what? When we sign off here, the bosses may say,
By the way,
"We
I
want
think
this
this was
tomorrow."
almost a big launch. I mean, you look at this. If this is a soft launch, then
Yeah.
wow.
They may want us tomorrow. They may want us after the fight on Saturday.
I'm
Who
happy.
knows?
Keep me wanting and working. Keep me paying. It's great stuff. Yeah.
GDP, as the great King Mo once said. In any event, it is time to go. Thank you so much for watching the very first episode of the Ariel and Ade show.
Ade and Ariel.
That rhymes.
Ade
Some
and
have
Ariel.
said double A. Some even said triple A, but I don't know what the third one is. Ariel.
And
Oh,
Ade.
yo.
God.
Because I do the ampersand. Is it an ampersand?
Goodbye, everyone.
Take
Goodbye.
care.
Thank
From
you.
London. Weigh-ins tomorrow. We'll see you there.
Live on DAZN, September 21st, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fight for the IBF World Heavyweight title. AJ stands on the brink of history to become a three-time world champion. Daniel Dynamite Dubois, Britain's silent powerhouse, stands in his way. An explosive night at Wembley awaits.
Who do you think you are? Daniel, don't disrespect me.
Joshua versus Dubois. Live on DAZN, September 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com.